and girls, it's Miss Brynna from Play Too Early On. Thank you for joining me for another bedtime video tonight. I hope you've brushed your teeth, put on your pajamas, and found a nice, comfy, cozy, open spot in your room on the floor with a blanket or a yoga mat. And now we can start our outer space yoga. So for our first 3 yoga poses tonight, we are going to be using our bodies to stand in our nice big open space. So I want you to make sure you have enough room that you're not going to hit your arms or your legs off of anything or anyone around you. Once you're ready, I want you to stand in your open space, put your 2 feet together, touching together just like this. Can you see my feet? We're going to take our arms, raise them way up above our head, and clap them and keep them above our head. Now our last step to make this yoga pose is to tilt our bodies all the way over as far as you can go. And now we're shining like the sun. Can you shine like the sun just like me? Lean your body over as far as it can go. And maybe if you feel it's a little uncomfortable, you can stand back up straight and maybe try leaning the other way. You can feel a nice long stretch in your back when you do this. This is called shining like the sun. Perfect. Now we'll take 2 deep breaths in. One more. Great, and now we can slowly release and go on to our next yoga pose. Now that we've finished our first Shine Like the Sun yoga pose, it's time for us to do our second yoga pose, which is called Glow Like the Moon. The great big moon in the sky, nice and white and bright at night, we're gonna glow just like the moon. So, to glow like the moon, we're gonna put our feet together just like the first pose. Make sure they're touching nice and tight. Now we're gonna bend our knees a little bit, not too much, just enough so you can see a little bit of a bend in your knee. Bend your knee a little bit. We're gonna put our hands together just like we were before, and we're gonna bring them up above our head like this. And now we're glowing like the moon. Are you glowing like the moon? That's great. And now we'll take 2 more deep breaths in and out together. Ready? One more. Great. Now we can slowly lower our hands and straighten our knees out. Wiggle your fingers out if they were falling asleep a little bit while they were above your head. And that was glowing like the moon. Now we can go on to our 3rd yoga pose. Now for our 3rd yoga pose, it's a little bit tricky. So if you can't get it perfect, don't worry about it. It's hard because we need to balance on 1 foot. Have you ever tried to balance on 1 foot before? It's not easy. That's okay, we'll do it together. If you need to balance, you can hold on to a wall if you have one near you, or you can hold on to your friend, or maybe a piece of furniture like a chair, anything like that. So our 3rd yoga pose is called Glide Like a Shooting Star. Have you ever seen a shooting star shoot across the sky at night? It goes super fast and it looks like a little white jet going across the sky. So we're gonna do that today. We're gonna glide like a shooting star. So to glide like a shooting star, we're going to put both of our arms out, kind of like we're flapping our wings like a bird. Put both of our arms out, and like I said, if you need to touch the wall, you can. I'll show you. We'll touch the wall, and we're gonna take 1 foot and lift it up. Are you balanced? Okay, once you're balanced, stick that foot out as far as it can go. See if you can get it to go super straight. And remember, keep your arms out to your sides. If you need to touch the wall, you can touch the wall too. We're gonna hold this pose, and we're gonna take 2 deep breaths in and out. Are you ready? 1, 2. Perfect. And now, if you were holding onto the wall, you can let go of the wall. Maybe you can try it without holding the wall. What do you think? It might make it easier if you bend your knee. So let's try without holding the wall. Bend your knee, keep your leg out straight. Perfect. And now we can lower our leg and our arms down. We can wiggle out our bodies. And now we can go on to the 4th yoga pose. So for this 4th yoga pose, we need to have a seat on our floor, get nice and comfortable. Hopefully you have something squishy, like a yoga mat, a floor mat like me, maybe a blanket or something like that. Once we're nice and comfortable on the floor like this, we can start our 4th yoga pose called Zoom Like an Asteroid. Have you ever seen an asteroid? It's just like a shooting star. They shoot through the sky super fast and you can barely see them because they're so quick. we're going to go on our knees and our hands. And we're gonna sit on our heels with our bum. And now we are going to take our hands and reach them out as far as they can go. And we're gonna lean forward with our bodies, and our forehead is going to touch the floor. Can you make your forehead touch the floor while you reach your arms out in front of you? Just like this. Perfect. Now you're zooming like an asteroid. So we're gonna hold this pose for 2 breaths. Can you do that with me? You won't be able to hear me very well, but we're gonna be breathing together for 2 breaths. Ready? 1 breath. 2 breaths. Perfect. So we're gonna slowly come up from our zoom like an asteroid pose. Now we can go on to our final yoga pose. Now our 5th and final yoga pose is called orbit like a comet. When you're orbiting like a comet, that means you're moving very slowly and you're a huge big rock in outer space, just moving really slowly around the Earth or all the way through the galaxy. So in order to do that, we need to stay super still and make ourselves into like a big rock or a boulder. Can you do that with me? Perfect. So it's going to be very similar to the 4th yoga pose when we were asteroids. Let's go turn to the side so you can see the whole pose. Remember when we put our arms out in front of us to be an asteroid? This time our arms are going to be out behind us like this. And they're going to rest on the floor. And our forehead, again, our forehead is going to touch the floor in front of us. Can you do that with me? Once we're in the pose, we're going to take 2 deep breaths, and then we can settle in for bed and say goodnight to one another. What do you think? Okay, let's go into our comet pose. Orbit like a comet. Let's lean forward with our arms out behind us and let our foreheads touch the floor. Just like this. Perfect. And now that we're in this position, we can take 2 big deep breaths in and out. Are you ready? That was 1. Let's take our second one. That was 2. Perfect. Now, if you're comfortable in this position, you can stay there for a little bit longer if you like, because I know when you're curled up in a ball and you're just resting on the floor, it can be very, very comfy, and it might make you a little bit sleepy too. I know it made me sleepy too. So I think it's time for us to say goodnight, but I really loved having you for another bedtime yoga video today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Good night.